because of your writings, actually, and it is this proverb, it'll look different in the morning.
Yeah, it'll look different in the morning. It may not. Wait a minute, don't panic, Bill, don't panic.
Maybe I wrote that wrong.
That's part of it. And the reason I use that all the time is because a day can go very bad, and you have all kinds of problems. But I always go to bed thinking that, okay, look, it's been a terrible day, everything's bad, it's going to be better in the morning. It's not necessarily a prediction, it's an attitude, it's an aspiration. And I've done that in all of my units so that when things have really gone bad and my troops are looking at me or my staff is looking at me saying, oh my heavens, this is terrible, oh my God, what's going to happen? I leave saying, hey, it's going to be better. You know why it's going to be better? We're going to make it better. So let's show up tomorrow morning and get ready to go. The source of it is when I was a young lieutenant, I was working for a captain, and the lieutenants loved this captain. We'd go to the bar every night and have a few drinks, and one night he said to us, you guys think you're good, you're such great young lieutenants, but let me tell you, this is what it's all about. He said, you will have a great day training, all the troops have been accounted for, all the weapons are secured, nothing's missing, everything's great, and you think you're hot stuff. You go home that night, and in the middle of the night, when nobody is looking, things get all screwed up. You come in the next morning, 3 soldiers are AWOL, 2 weapons are missing, the windows have all been smashed out. You know what? You just suck it up and get started again. It's a great day to be a soldier. So you've got to come in prepared to always do your best the next day and show an attitude that will infect your people. Leaders, successful leaders are those who really infect their people.
Yeah, and so here's another one that's like this. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier.
Exactly, yeah. It sounds a little complex, but it isn't. In the military, when we're planning, we're always looking for force multipliers. How can I make my force more effective? By more supply, by more intelligent information, but you look for ways to make your force more powerful. And I think one of the ways to make a group of human beings more powerful as a leader is to constantly show them perpetual optimism. No matter how bad things are, we're going to fix it. We've had a bad day, tomorrow will be a great day. And when we do have a great day, I don't overdo it. My staff has often said, you know, you're curious. You never seem to get too down, but you never seem to get too up. I said, yeah, I try to sail a nice level keel at an altitude that doesn't shake people up. People look to the leader for confidence. They look to the leader for reassurance. They look to the leader to solve problems. And I don't like working for leaders who suddenly go off or have tantrums. People think generals run around saying, that's an order. Never said that in my whole life. I mean,
you know, did it feel good when you said it right now? Or
yeah, I should have tried it more often. And the reason is, American soldiers and American people don't respond. Tell me why we're doing this. Why? Explain it to me again, Pastor Bill. I didn't get that cool 3-way chart there thing. Tell me again, and so you have to persuade people that it is in their interest to share the corporate interest, the organizational interest, and not order them around. That's the way you get undying loyalty, and they'll do anything for you. I've seen it over and over. What do we do now, boss? What do we do now, Captain? What with you?
Okay, another one, you say, get mad, but then get over it.
Yeah, mad is a bad attitude. Everybody gets mad. It's a human emotion. I haven't gotten mad at you yet, though. Keep it up.
You're still
But I don't find that if you act while you're mad, you really are at your best. And so, get mad if you have to, and then get over it. My staff knew over time that I'm not inhuman. I have human emotions, and I would get mad. And they could usually tell when I was not happy about something, and they would just leave me alone. Because what they knew was, hey, leave him alone for a few minutes. He's in the mood. He'll be okay. And they knew I'd be out of it shortly. Because I had to get out of it shortly. You can't stay mad, or the whole organization is contaminated. They're all afraid to come here, afraid to tell you anything bad, afraid to do anything. It freezes an organization when the leaders are running around mad.
So express passion, but then get over it.
Now, there have been occasions in my life, and I've written about them in my books, where I just couldn't handle it, and I really blew off at somebody. And it usually caused all kinds of, oh my God, we've never seen like that before. And my staff, don't worry, he'll be okay in the next hour or two, don't worry.
This is a question every leader struggles with. How do you know when to fire somebody and when to give that same person a second chance?
I've always tried to adapt to the personality of my subordinates. I'm a leader, but there aren't any three human beings who are identical. And so it was my job as a leader to find out the strengths and weaknesses of each of my subordinates, and to build on their strengths to compensate for their weaknesses, and see how they build on my strengths and compensate for my weaknesses. And that's what I've always tried to do. And where there is a shortcoming or weakness, I work with them, we counsel them. But I found a number of occasions where I cannot get a subordinate to work on my purpose. I can't get them to buy into my vision. They haven't done anything wrong, but I've had to call them and say, this isn't working. I can't get you to move in harmonic with me. So you have to find another job, and I will let them go. Or sometimes there are people who just don't want to do anything. And as you said earlier, and I smiled when you said it earlier, the first ones who know about it are the others. You have good followers in an organization, and they're doing everything you ask of them, but they don't like bad followers getting over. And they know it before anyone else. They're right there with them. And they're waiting for a leader to have the guts to do something.
Exactly right.
And if you ain't got the guts to do it, you're not leading anymore.
Yeah, and they're pleading for the leader to take action.
And every time I've done it, as painful as it was, and I agonized over doing it, as soon as I've done it, a cloud lifts over the organization. They have been waiting for it. Leaders are people who solve problems. And if you don't solve this kind of a problem, you lose the trust and confidence of your subordinates. And if you're not solving problems all the time, watch out, because people may stop bringing you problems. And when you're not being brought problems, it means one of two things. People don't think you will solve the problem, so I bring it to you. But worse, your subordinates think he doesn't really care. She doesn't care. That's the worst effect of not being a problem solver. So I'm always a problem solver. Bring it in. I want to know about it.
Okay, I always wanted to ask you this. When you see an aspiring leader, what pushes your buttons? When you're working with a young leader, what characteristic do they manifest that where you go, oh man, I'm worried about that. I don't think I want to work with this young leader. What's like a real red flag with an emerging leader?
Ego.
Yeah.
I run into people who are brilliant, who could get the job done, but somewhere along the way, nobody taught them humility or humbleness or consideration of others. And you can see it. They start to think that they turned the sun on that morning. And I just can't work with them. I can't deal with them. I had one fellow who was an important member of my staff in one of my organizations. But every time he came into my office, he looked around as if he was measuring the drapes. And he was. And so I didn't fire him. I used him because I needed him. But I also made sure he would never be in a position to hang drapes in that office.
Okay, so here's another one. It's closely related, but again, I love your wisdom on this. An aspiring leader, you put a lot into this young woman or man. Have you ever had to just take someone aside and say, you know what, I don't think you're cut out to be a leader. I don't think you're going to make the grade.
Yes, and there are a number of officers that I work with, or civilians that I work with, where they're perfect at the level they're at, but they shouldn't go higher. And one of my chapters in my book says you promote people on the basis of their potential, not their performance. You look at their past performance. It's an indicator of future potential. But you also have to have an instinct for future potential. this person is great as a colonel, but how will she do or he do as a general? Do they understand that